What Bevy Smith's story teaches us about real fulfillment. The first thing people noticed about Denise was her laugh. It wasn't the quiet, polite laugh you give when someone tells a joke that isn't that funny. No, Denise laughed from her stomach. Loud, joyful, the kind of laugh that made strangers turn their heads and smile even if they didn't know what was funny. But Denise hadn't always been like that. There was a time when she laughed just to fill the silence. Back then, Denise lived in a small apartment in Chicago. The apartment looked nice from the outside. Brick building, clean hallway, a doorman who nodded politely, but inside her place it was cluttered with things she barely remembered buying. Shoes she never wore, purses still in boxes, clothes with tags still hanging. Shopping bags filled the corners of her living room like decorations she didn't know how to throw away. Denise had what people on social media would call a good life. She worked in media, she attended events, she knew people who knew people. And on Instagram, everything looked fabulous. But when the camera was off, things felt different. Very different. One night Denise sat on her couch scrolling through her phone. Party invitations, vacation pictures, people smiling in expensive restaurants. She sighed. Why do I still feel empty? She asked herself. She had the clothes, the dinners, the friends, the dates, but somehow something still felt missing. The life that looked good. Denise had spent most of her 30s chasing excitement. If someone invited her out, she went. If someone suggested drinks, she said yes. If someone looked good enough to date, she gave them a chance. Sometimes 2 chances, sometimes 5, her friends used to joke. Girl, you stay outside. Denise would laugh. Life is short, I'm enjoying it. But deep down, Denise knew the truth. She wasn't enjoying it, she was distracting herself. When the party ended and the Uber dropped her off at home, the quiet apartment felt heavy. The expensive things didn't talk back. The shoes didn't give advice. And the designer purse didn't hug you when you felt lonely. One night after a long dinner with friends, Denise walked into her apartment and looked around. Shopping bags, clothes, boxes, receipts. Her phone buzzed with another invitation. We're going out again tomorrow. You coming? She stared at the message. Then she typed something she had never typed before. No thanks, I'm staying home. Her friend replied with laughing emojis. Who are you and what did you do with Denise? Denise laughed to herself. I don't even know anymore, she whispered. The moment everything changed. The next morning Denise woke up earlier than usual. The sunlight hit the window differently that day. Or maybe she was just seeing things differently. She walked into the kitchen and poured herself a glass of water. Then she said something out loud. I'm tired. Not tired from work. Not tired from socializing. Tired from pretending. She opened her refrigerator. Wine, champagne, cocktail mixers. She stared at them. Maybe it's time to slow down. That afternoon Denise made a decision that surprised even herself. She stopped drinking, not because she had a problem, but because she realized something important. Every time she felt stressed, bored, or lonely, she reached for a drink. And the drink helped for about 2 hours. Then the same feelings came back. Sometimes worse. So she decided to try something different. She decided to sit with herself. And that was harder than any party. Learning to be alone. The first few weeks were strange. Without constant invitations and distractions, Denise suddenly had something she hadn't had in years. Time. She started going for walks. Long ones. Sometimes 3 miles. Sometimes 5. She noticed things she had ignored for years. Trees. Coffee shops. People laughing on park benches. Life that existed outside of Instagram. During those walks Denise started asking herself questions. Real ones. What actually makes me happy? What do I want my life to look like when I'm 60? Who am I when nobody is watching? The answers didn't come quickly. But slowly, things started to change. The truth about success. Denise realized something most people don't want to admit. You can have money and still feel empty. You can have attention and still feel invisible. You can have followers and still feel alone. For years she thought success meant more parties, more clothes, more attention, more people saying her name. But now she understood something deeper. Real success meant peace. It meant waking up without anxiety. It meant liking the person you saw in the mirror. It meant not needing everyone's approval. Denise started letting go of things. Old clothes, old habits, old expectations, even some friendships. Not everyone understood. One friend said, "You've changed." Denise smiled. That's the point. A new vision. Months later Denise stood in front of a small room filled with people. They weren't there for a party. They were there for something more meaningful. Conversation, growth, vision. Denise shared her story. I used to think fulfillment came from outside, she told them. More things, more attention, more excitement. She paused. But real fulfillment comes from knowing who you are, and building a life that actually matches that. The room was quiet. People nodded. Some people even wiped away tears. Because the truth is simple. A lot of people are living lives that look good, but don't feel good. Denise continued. You don't have to wait until you're 60 to start living intentionally. You can start today. Ask yourself one question. Am I living, or just existing? The lesson. That night Denise walked home feeling lighter than she had in years. Her apartment looked different now. Less clutter, more space, more calm. She made herself tea and sat by the window. No music, no television, just quiet, and for the first time in a long time, the quiet felt good. Denise smiled, not the social media smile, not the party smile, a real one, because she had finally learned something that takes many people a lifetime to understand. Fulfillment doesn't come from attention. It doesn't come from shopping. It doesn't come from impressing people. It comes from alignment. When your life matches your values. When your habits support your health. When your choices support your peace. And when you finally stop chasing everything. And start choosing yourself. The final question. Before Denise went to bed that night, she wrote one sentence in her journal. Your life changes the moment you decide to live it with vision. Then she added a question underneath. A question she now asked everyone she met. And maybe one worth asking yourself too. Are you building a life that actually fulfills you? Or just a life that looks good to everyone else? Sparkles.